you say the pharmaceutical industry has nothing to lose, but look at what happened to the pharmaceutical companies that put forward some of the opiates. They have been driven out of business. Their names have been taken off buildings. They are regarded as pariahs in the world today. Certainly anybody who runs a pharmaceutical company cares deeply about not killing people. And even if the government doesn't mandate this kind of testing, and even if they give them exemption from financial liability, I think you overstate it when you say that the people who are developing these vaccines have no concern whatsoever whether people live or die. I think they do have a concern. I think the government has eliminated their financial liability. But
here's the answer. You raised a bunch of questions. One is the opiate people got busted, Alan. And by the way, no, they were not moral people. They knew what they were doing. They're killing 56,000 American young kids a year, knowing what they were doing. More kids every year that were killed in the 20-year Vietnam War. These are not moral companies. And they only got busted because plaintiffs' attorneys could sue them.
I agree.
They got the discovery documents and walked them down to the U.S. Attorney's Office and said, hey, there's criminal behavior here. That can never happen in the vaccine space. You can't sue them. There's no discovery. There's no depositions. There's no class action suit. There's no multi-district litigation. There's no interrogatories, nothing. They never get caught. Now, these 4 companies that make all of our vaccines, all 72 of the vaccine shots that are now mandated for our children, every one of them is a convicted serial felon. Glaxo, Sanofi, Pfizer, Merck. In the past 10 years, just in the last decade, those companies have paid $35 billion in criminal penalties, damages, fines, for lying to doctors, for defrauding science, for falsifying science, for killing hundreds of thousands of Americans knowingly. How can anybody, it requires a cognitive dissonance for people who understand the criminal corporate cultures of these 4 companies to believe that they're doing this in every other product that they have, but they're not doing it with vaccines. They are. Look, and I just want to answer your other question. No. Sure. Placebo testing does not take place after the clinical trials. And the reason for that is that HHS has adopted a very unethical guidance that says it is unethical once a vaccine is licensed, recommended. It is unethical to do placebo trials or compare vaccinated versus unvaccinated people. There are scientists who do it, but they're punished for it. It's very difficult for them to publish. They get their funding cut off because nobody wants any study that is going to reveal the truth about vaccine injuries. So it just does not happen. Unfortunately, we are in a situation today where we have tremendous corruption, not only in Congress, which receives more money from pharmaceutical companies than any other industry. Pharmaceutical gives in lobbying twice the amount that oil and gas, which is the next big one, 4 times with defense and aerospace. There are more lobbyists, pharma lobbyists in Congress than there are members of Congress in the Senate. So we have lost the legislative independence of that body. And unfortunately, Alan, the agencies are also captured. Now, you know about agency capture. It happens everywhere. NIH owns hundreds of vaccines patents. NIH owns half the patent for the Moderna vaccine. There's 5 individuals at NIH, and the rules at NIH, if you're a scientist or an official who worked on a vaccine, you're allowed to collect $150,000 a year in royalties on sales that that vaccine makes. These regulatory agencies are actually vaccine companies. The vaccine marketing sales part of those agencies is the tail that is now wagging the regulatory dog.